Hello and welcome to Uncle Matt Does Keto.
Hello, in this video I'm going to be making a couple of biscuits to go with cheese that are very useful if you're doing a low carbs or keto, Atkins, these kind of diets, because basically they're made with seeds and things like that and they don't have carbs, but you get a really lovely, tasty, crunchy biscuit. And so if you're missing that texture, then I think you're going to really like this one.
Alright, let's get started. This first is the all seed crackers. Those are chia seeds and they are essential because they add a kind of sort of gelatinous consistency when they're soaked, and the other seeds are just a random selection of mixed seeds of my choice, and that is some curry powder. Now other flavours will go really nice in this, chili and anything you want, but I just went with curry powder this time, and that was hot water pretty much straight from the kettle, and just stir that in for a second and then leave that to the side. You're going to leave that for about half an hour or so for the water to completely hydrate into the seeds, and those chia seeds will do their magic. This is the other one. Now this is, I will obviously share a link to both these recipes below in the description. This one is from Tom Kerridge's book, and Tom Kerridge is a brilliant chef, absolutely brilliant, 2 Michelin star guy, and he has lost a ton of weight. He's almost literally half the man he used to be from doing keto, but he's obviously developed lots of recipes that keep him interested. So what you saw me do there was 1 egg white. Obviously you can scale this recipe up, but this isn't a very large yield that I'm making here. And whipped to a sort of meringue stage, which I think makes it easier to get these other ingredients to mix in evenly. I couldn't work out why he bothered, because at the end of it, it's not fluffy at all. But that was ground almond, ground flaxseed, some bicarb soda, and salt went into there. And again, add some spice if you like. To roll them out, it's best to do it sandwiched between a couple of sheets of baking parchment or greaseproof paper. I like to crunch it up a bit because I find it's just easier to manipulate it into the shape I want. I felt that it was maybe a tad dry, and if it looks like it's going to be crumbly, I just damped my hands and just patted it on them, and that was enough moisture just to help. So with your rolling pin, basically just roll it out. You'll find every now and again you need to sort of lift off the paper and put it back on again, and go to the thickness that you want. So obviously I'm going to round about, I'll show you in a second, probably about 4 millimeters, and I find that that's a nice sort of thickness of biscuit for me, and the cooking time I do these for is around about half an hour. But you just basically cook them until you feel that they're completely cooked through, not soft anymore. To shape them, it's up to you. You could use a cutter if you like. I just find that it's obviously a lot of trimming left over, so you get a lot less biscuits that I get my teeth in. So I'm using a knife to cut them into squares, rough approximate squares, like so. And those trimmings, you're probably saying, yeah, but Uncle Matt, you said you don't want to waste any. Well, yeah, I'm going to re-roll them. And they re-roll very well. So arrange those nice ones, there's a couple of odd-shaped ones at the end, onto your tray, space that. And this is the trim, the leftover bits. So I'm just going to put it in the centre, be easier. And you're going to roll that again. So there you go, there's the temperature. And it's the same for both of these, 170°C, 340 Fahrenheit. And there you go. So I barely wasted any of this, and we got a couple of ugly ones. And so what? I don't care. Do you care, really? In the oven. And say about half an hour for those, but you might want to set your timer for 25 minutes. It depends on your oven, doesn't it, and the thickness you've done. So look at that weird-looking, gloopy, not very appetising mixture from the seeds. It's pliable now. You can spread it out. So this is, I recommend this technique onto a tray lined with baking parchment or one of those silicone sheets. If you've got those, they're fancy, aren't they? I've got one, but it's too big for my trays. And just spread it out. You don't have to go all the way to the corners. You go to the thickness you want, basically. And yeah, that's that done. And then I like to score them because it's easier to get them to shape you want afterwards. But I realised that serrated knife was a mistake. So in with a smooth bladed knife. You don't have to really cut through, just score. It's enough because you'll just be able to break them afterwards. So we've been missing stuff like this if you've been doing this sort of diet, haven't you? So there's some nice charcuterie. And this is basically a variation of Branston pickle that I've made, but I've used xylitol instead of brown sugar. So I think it qualifies as keto, I'm not sure, but I will do a recipe for that soon. I'm just demonstrating that that's crispy and baked. And cooking times for these seed crackers, again, it's completely dependent on how thin you spread them. So that was, again, it was pretty similar to cooking time. It was about half an hour, maybe 40 minutes to be completely crisp. And then you see how easy they are then to break. And don't worry if they sort of end up in shards. Some of them will. And they're a bit crumbly, but they're wonderful. Let them cool completely before you put a lid on. Otherwise, they'll get all sweaty, condensation, and all that stuff will happen in there. So yeah, completely cooled down, and an airtight container. And they're going to keep for, well, longer than you'll let them keep, because you're going to gobble them all up pretty quickly. And yeah, I'm just demonstrating how you might want to use them. And what I'll do is that I'm going to hand you over to me for the tasting.
Okay, so two really quite simple crackers to make, but low carb, good for the keto diet. What's wrong with that? Absolutely amazing. So I'm going to try some of this rather soft sheep's cheese, and this is on the flaxseed biscuit or cracker, which is more hardy. It holds together a bit better. This just the seed one, they're very crumbly but delicious anyway. So I've made these a few times now, and they've come out exactly the same every time, which is really good to know. And they keep very well. I've never had them go soft, if you see what I mean. You know, I've always finished them while they were still nice and fresh and crunchy. So that is a bit of this blue cheese with the seed cracker. Oh, and some chutney. This chutney is basically a variation of Branston pickle, but I've made it using xylitol instead of regular sugar, and it tastes absolutely fantastic. So I will be recreating that video very soon for you, but let's give this one a try. Wonderful crispiness, the flavour as well, all the seeds is just wonderful. You're going to be picking bits of seeds out of your teeth, but you know, I don't suppose that's really an issue. Anyway, so that's this first sort of cooking tutorial on Uncle Matt Does Keto. I hope I get to reach some sort of audience out there. It's a very young channel, so very few people will see this. But if you like what you see, you know, thank you, and really appreciate if you like and subscribe, and you know, let me know that you'd like me to do more videos, because that's very good inspiration for doing more videos. And if you also like what you see here, go and check out Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons, because I think you'll like what I'm doing there. It's not all keto, in fact a lot of it really isn't, but it's new for me. Anyway, so thank you ever so much, and I'll see you again pretty soon. Goodbye.